my name is my name is Abu Torab, and one of the things that I do is that I'm currently 20 years old. I'm a full-time university student. So in this talk, I'll be talking about productivity in Islam and how you can balance multiple aspects of your life. So you can balance university, which are of course your secular studies, and you can balance that with Islamic studies as well. And at the same time, you can also spend time with family, friends, make content online. You can go and work out at the gym. You can balance all of these different aspects in your life, and everything is possible. So many a times we hear from people that it's not possible to balance multiple things at once. You have to either choose one or the other. And that's not necessarily true. In fact, I definitely disagree with it. If you look at the life of the Prophet alayhi salam, he was able to spend time with his family. He was the best man to have ever walked on the face of this earth. He was always there for his family, friends. He was always praying at the masjid. He was always there for the community. And of course, he had many other things such as war happening and finances. And, taking care of a family and a whole religion is extremely, extremely hard. And the Prophet ﷺ was able to do all of these things without, having to compromise anything. So hopefully, I will just be talking about certain practical tips that people can be using in order to really productive. So one of the things that I'd like to talk about is that whenever you want to do something, it's very important that you have the right intentions. Ask yourself, why am I doing something? Why am I going to the mosque? Why am I being nice to my family? Why am I working out? Why am I earning money? Why am I not doing certain things that are bad and staying away from them? So have the right intentions. And we know that the Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ, that every single action is according to intentions. So if you make yourself the right intention and you do the action, then you get two rewards for it. But if you make the right intention and you don't do the action, then you still get the reward for the intention, but not for the action. But if you were to do a bad deed, you would get the sin for the bad deed. But if you came up with the intention of a bad deed, however, you didn't do the bad deed, then the intention is not written as a bad thing. In fact, you get a good deed for it because you intended to do something bad, but you feared Allah Azza wa Jal and you didn't do it. So that is something that's very, very important, intentions. Now the second thing I want to talk about is that with anything in life you need to seek Allah Azza wa Jal's help. So make loads of dua. So pray after the prayer, don't rush and run away and just go away. Stay seated and make loads of dua. It's very, very important. One of the things that people neglect is making dua a lot, and that's because they don't see the importance of it. They're not patient about it. They expect to make dua and something's gonna randomly come to their life, and yeah, they're gonna be rich and everything's gonna happen. No, that's not how it works. Dua comes with patience. You have to wait for the dua to be accepted. Now, do you remember that patience is very, very important? It's one of the key factors, and whoever can master the skill, you will see that the problems in your life is going to decrease so much, and it's just going to make your life much, much easier in general. Imagine, even if you're not in the wrong and something happened and you happen to be involved, then due to your patience you can just get rid of every problem in your life, even when it's not necessarily involved with you, even when you're not the one who is in the wrong. So when it comes to productivity, one other thing that you want to do is you want to prioritize your tasks. So for example, today my day started at 5 a.m. I woke up very, very early, prayed Fajr, did my Quran revision and my Islamic revision. And after that, now that I have done all of the Islamic stuff, I can spend the rest of the day working, giving lectures, doing my university work, which right now I have so much university work that I need to get done. So I have to prioritize that. I've also went to the gym today. Now I would love to spend time with my friends today. Usually on a Saturday evening or Sunday evening, we like to go out with our friends. But I have to sacrifice that today because I have so much university work. So after this, I have to go and do all of my university work that I'm behind. And this is where prioritization comes in. Not every single day can you just go and relax and do the things that you want to do. Some days you'll have to sacrifice. Imagine you have a lot of work to do today, or something happened and you need to go to work. Your boss calls you, your manager calls you. If by chance your mom is sick or your family needs to go to the hospital, what are you going to do? You're going to prioritize your family, right? You're going to take the day off from work and you're going to go and spend time with your family. So at the end of the day, we all prioritize a lot in our lives. However, many a times we prioritize the wrong things. If you have a deadline due next week and you also want to, go out with your friends and whatnot, then ask yourself, what is truly important? Is this task that will help me to get the grades I need for my degree and allow me to get a job in the future? Is this more important? Or is it, just, spending a few hours with your friends, which you do anyway all the time? So prioritizing is extremely, extremely important. Now, managing your time can be very, very hard, but there are different ways in which you can do this. Everybody is different, so there isn't any actual right answer. What I like to do is I usually use something like Notion, which is an app. You can download this and you can get any other apps that are free. You can just use an Excel file, you can use Microsoft to do list. There are so many different apps available. We live in the 21st century and everything's about technology. So if everything is, surrounding us is about technology, then why not use it to do good? There is a lot of bad you can do with technology, but how about you use it to do good? And you can write down, okay, this time to this time, I need to get this work done. Many a times we give ourselves goals. For example, I'm going to study Islam for 2 hours, but we're not specific. So when we go to study, we spend 20 minutes just researching and random stuff and, oh, I need to get my pen, I need to get my paper, or I need to go to the toilet. You waste so much of your time. What's important is next time you give yourself goals, you write down exactly what you need to do. So write down, today I'm going to study 2 hours from this specific Islamic course. Today will be about fiqh, or today will be about prayer, today will be about Quran. So when you come to study, you know exactly what you need to do and you don't waste any unnecessary time. So this is another thing that's very, very important. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, you probably know all of these tips. So what is it that's actually stopping you from doing the work? And that is procrastination. Procrastination is what really causes people to fall back. And one of the ways that I like to tackle procrastination is again by noting down everything that I need to do and giving myself a procrastination time in the first place. So if I say to myself I'm going to study at 6, then I'm probably going to sit down on my desk here half an hour earlier and watch a bunch of YouTube videos, message my friends on social media, and do all of the things that I want to do. So that by 6 o'clock, I've already had that urge. I've gotten rid of that dopamine and everything in my brain. So I'm now ready to get the work done. So, in general, to tackle procrastination, you want to give yourself more time. So if you say 6 to 8, I'm going to revise, realistically, you will end up revising from 6:30 to 7:30. So you'll take half an hour before and half an hour after procrastinating. So rather say to yourself, I'm going to sit down at 5 o'clock, but then by the time you procrastinate and get the work done, you'll probably be 6 o'clock. But now you're still on time. Does that make sense? So it's very, very important that you avoid procrastination. And again, there will be times where you procrastinate, but the best way to procrastinate is by planning the procrastination rather than procrastinating when you really, really don't have the time to plan in the first place. So, one other important thing is taking breaks. Many people don't take breaks. They think they're like a machine, and in the end, what happens is that they do nothing. Now, I've fallen into this. I remember when I was around 16. I'm from the UK, by the way, and we have exams called GCSEs. And these are like exams when you take your 15/16. So before you go to college or high school, let's say, college is probably university in Canada and America and those countries, right? So what I used to do is I used to say to myself, I'm going to study 8 to 10 hours in a day. And I realized that that's not possible because, yes, certain days you can study 8 hours, 10 hours a day, but the problem is that you're not able to balance other aspects of your life. And you were giving yourself goals that are unrealistic. And you were saying, I'm going to study this much. But in reality, you should know that what your capabilities are. If you know that your capabilities will not let you study 8 hours in a day for a whole month, then do you know what that means? It means that you need to study all the way from the beginning of university, from college. You need to study from day one. You don't want to procrastinate. And it's funny because every time people procrastinate, it always leads to them burning out. And that's because they've procrastinated so long that when they have an exam or they have something coming up, they have to cram and do so much in one go, which increases the anxiety levels, increases the stress levels, and it doesn't make you feel good and it's not good for your health as well. So these are some of the points that I wanted to mention. Now, I'll probably end on a few more points, and that is maintaining a healthy lifestyle. There is many scientific articles that are there, and I do this at a degree level, so I always do a lot of research on our body and how it works, about anatomy, physiology. These are all the things that I learn in my course. So having a healthy lifestyle will not only help you physically to feel comfortable, to feel confident, to look better, but it will help you with discipline. Look at fighters such as Khabib and Muhammad Ali and many other fighters from the past and from the present. What happens is that when you're working out, you are extremely disciplined. You don't go and eat rubbish, junk food outside every single day. So you control your emotions, you control yourself, you're building discipline. And discipline is the key thing that people need in order for you to have a productive lifestyle. Remember, a lot of the times, motivation is not as effective as discipline. Motivation will allow you to start something, but it will not allow you to continue. If you're motivated to study about Islam today because one of the sheikhs gave you an amazing talk, then what will happen is that that motivation after 1 week it will start to fade away. So all you will do is you will be left with nothing because you will be tired and you will give up. Rather, you need to discipline yourself and say, every week, this is how much I must do. And you need somebody to perhaps hold you accountable for it. That's why friends are very important. Have friends that have a similar mindset to you. In Islam, brotherhood and sisterhood are very important. The Prophet ﷺ said, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. That none of you have believed until you love for your brother what you love for yourself. So it's important that you find people that have are on the similar journey to you, whether it's at work, whether it's at university, or whatever it's at, and you try your best to make connections with them and hold each other accountable. So these are the main tips. I do want to conclude on one final tip. So the final tip that I wanted to talk about is seeking knowledge. Now, seeking knowledge is very important. As a Muslim, the Prophet ﷺ said, طلب العلم فريضة على كل Muslim, that seeking knowledge is obligatory upon every Muslim. So if you want to know how to fast, you need to know how to fast. You need the theoretical knowledge so that you can then apply it. We know that Ramadan is coming very soon. So how are you going to manage your time? How are you going to finish the entire Quran in Ramadan? Go to all of the prayers. This change doesn't happen in one day. You need to prepare now. You have one whole month. Start to go to the mosque maybe twice a day. Start to increase the amount of Quran that you recite every day. Start to increase the fasting that you do. This month that is right before Ramadan, which is also known as the month of Sha'ban, the Prophet ﷺ used to fast the most after Ramadan in this month of the year. because this month is very important. It's where you are mentally preparing yourself and disciplining yourself. So it's very, very important that you seek knowledge. Seeking knowledge is an obligation for every Muslim, and you need to do it. In the 21st century, you can literally, on your phone, on whatever you're watching this talk in, you can easily find many talks, and you can always seek knowledge. So there isn't any excuses. You need to ask yourself, how badly do I really want something? If you really want something badly, then you would be waking up to pray tahajjud for it. You'd be making loads of dua for it, and you would be tying your camel, meaning you would be putting all of the effort possible. So, one thing I want to say before I conclude is that an ideal Muslim is a Muslim that takes care of their soul, of the mind, and of their body. So what they do is they make sure they pray, they fast, they seek knowledge, they read Quran, and they are sincere in everything that they do, and they love people for the sake of Allah. And that's how you control your soul. That's how you feed the soul, by reciting Quran, by doing dhikr and remembering Allah Azza wa Jal. And when it comes to the mind, you need to feed it with knowledge, and that is Islamic knowledge, and also whatever university degree you're doing, or all other career jobs that you're doing, any sort of knowledge that will help you in the dunya to not only provide a source of income for you and your family, but to also help people around you. And the last thing is to take care of your body. Remember, your body, this is an amana, a trust given to you by Allah. So you want to return this body back to Allah Azza wa Jal in the best way possible. Try to sleep properly, try to drink good amount of water, try to exercise regularly. And remember, the beauty of our religion is, even if you don't really like to exercise or do these things, just by doing it, which benefits you and nobody else, you get good deeds for these things as well. So soul, mind, and body. And this is something that I like to take every single day. And of course, you want to spend time with your family and friends and your loved ones, and you want to bring an impact to the ummah. So that was, I guess, the end of the talk. I didn't want to make it too long, simply because I know that everybody's really busy, and I don't want to give you a lot of information overload. I want you to rather take the tips and apply it to your life. Soul, mind, body. Have I ticked each one of them every single day? And what am I doing to become a better version of myself? Because every day is a chance for you to redeem yourself. So if you're not using every day as a chance, then this is very problematic, and it's a sign that perhaps Allah Azza wa Jal is not giving you that guidance. Certainly, sometimes you can tell whether Allah Azza wa Jal loves you or not. You can easily ask yourself, do I love Allah Azza wa Jal? Do I really love him? Because love is not something that you just say. Love has to be something you believe, something that you actually manifest on your limbs. So your hands, your feet. You cannot say, I love Allah, and then you don't go to the mosque. You cannot say, I love Allah, but then you don't read the Quran, and you don't spend time with your family, with your parents, and you don't go and benefit people, and you waste your time too much by gossiping about people, and watching too many of movies and whatever to waste your time. You cannot say you love Allah and not put the effort in, right? If you love somebody, you have to put the effort in. So it's very important that we keep this in mind. And from today, you need to make yourself a promise that if anybody out there can do it, then you can do it as well. There is nothing that's different between each human being. And remember that it doesn't matter how many steps you are from Allah Azza wa Jal, it only takes one step to go back to Him, because He's the most merciful. And this is where I really want to end it. I don't want to take any more of your time. Just try your best to apply these tips. Keep me in your du'as so that Allah Azza wa Jal keeps me sincere, keeps me guided. And I really hope that this was very beneficial. And if there is any questions, I'll take a few questions. So the question is how to avoid being distracted from work and I guess and pray. So you want to pray and you don't want to be distracted from work. So it's very important to balance everything. I think it all comes down to prioritization. So it's you need to ask yourself what is the goal that you have. So for example, if prayer is your goal right now, then you need to start to take some time out of this so that you're not spending too much time at work and you're spending more time in the important things such as prayer. Now, remember, at the end of the day, praying is obligatory upon every single Muslim on the face of this earth. And if you truly love Allah, this goes back to the point, then you will find time for them. Your body finds time to eat, to sleep. You find time to watch your favorite movie or whatever it is. People give time to the things that they love. So many a times people say they don't have time. I think this is a big misconception and it's not a good thing to say because you're then pretending that the 24 hours that Allah has given you, you don't appreciate it as much. Remember, time is very very subjective. There were people back in the days and even today who can do so much more in the same 24 hours. Do you know why? Because there is more barakah, there is more blessing in the time. Blessing in the time is something that you need to ask Allah Azza wa Jal. How to stay uh, tasks and completed. Um, Okay, so this goes back to procrastination. So, for example, as I said, if your task you need to do it from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock, then what you want to do is you want to start early around 4:30 so that you can give that time for procrastination. It's kind of like children. When children go into studying, you first want to give them some time to relax and get rid of their energy and everything. And then when they're tired, you can then try and give them a talk and calm them down. So this is something that they do again with kids, and we're not any different because at the end of the day, we also have the same habits. We also are very distracted and we want to do things that entertain us all the time. So remember, ask Allah Azza wa Jal for dua. Without dua, it's not going to work. And once you've asked Him for dua, it's time for you to tie the camel. Okay? And that means you need to put the effort in. Without effort, Allah Azza wa Jal is not going to give it to you. Because remember, there are many people out there who are making dua, but how many are truly, sincerely making dua and putting the effort in? Yeah, so inshallah, we'll conclude it there if there are no questions. I make daily videos on my social medias where I talk about the different ways in which you can balance, different aspects of your life. I actually vlog this every single day, so I show my university with Islamic studies exactly what time I do this. So you can feel free to watch it on my social media, which is called Abu Turab Islam. I will write it down here. And if you have any questions there, I will answer them. I will just answer one more question out of the two because I don't want to keep it any longer. So how to reduce using technology for those who are addicted to it? So that's that's a very good question. Many people have this problem with dopamine, and that's because every time you swipe up, you just want to swipe and swipe and swipe and swipe. I think it's very important to find something else that is an alternative. Now, one of the things that I find as an alternative is reading books. I was never a person who enjoyed reading books. I was not one of those people who used to read books since I was a child. So it's something I developed actually in the past few years, especially during COVID. Ask yourself, what is it that you're looking for? If you're really looking for some sort of entertainment, you can find entertainment in other places such as books. You can find entertainment in other things such that are not necessarily halal, but much better in terms of the way your time works. So of course, everything you do it should be halal, but within halal, there is things that are more productive and less productive. And you always want to choose within halal the things that are more productive. And that's very, very important. So usually with my phone, I like to put it on silent and on do not disturb when I'm doing work. and I would have to be in the right place. So if I'm at home and I have my siblings and everybody's partying, then it's not the right place for you to stay to study. You need to go to the library. If you're trying to go and seek knowledge, it's best to go outside to the mosque or do it in a place where there is more barakah, there is more blessings in that place. For every single action, there is a specific designed place for that thing. And I think that really helps. When I'm in the library, I'm more likely to study than when I'm at home and I have, my family and everybody calling, and there's so many interesting things that's always popping up. Any advice for small business Muslim owners? Again, making dua is very, very important. I have my own business as well, which I started at the age of 16. And Alhamdulillah, now that I'm 20, it's grown to a very good five-figure company. And the reason I was able to do that is loads of dua and spending a lot of time understanding how business works and putting the effort in. Remember, it's not always about motivation. When you start your business, you're going to be very happy, very, very happy. But later on, after a few weeks, that happiness goes down. And it's important to be disciplined. Again, set yourself specific times and ask yourself. It all goes back to the first thing I mentioned today, which is intentions. Intention is the most important thing. Why are you doing this? For who? And once you have that in mind and you know it's for the sake of Allah, so that you can help your family and the people around you, then everything becomes easy. You start to be motivated much, much more, and you become more disciplined because you're doing it for a person. My business is called Abu Educates. You can find it online and whatnot. So essentially, we help people get into medical school and dental school. That's what we do. Um, I'll just end on this question. Some of my challenges were that it's very hard to always grow businesses and stuff like that. But the thing I did is since I was a kid, Alhamdulillah, I come from a family that's always disciplined us. My mom used to switch off the internet line at 9 o'clock so that we could go to sleep. That's how like disciplined and strict she was with us. Which is why when I was 16, by that time I was completely disciplined and I knew exactly what I wanted to do. And again, I think people don't realize how much time they have. When I look back at it, I say to myself, imagine I can go back 10 years. Oh, I would have done this differently. How about rather than asking that question, you say to yourself, now is that time? Because if you're still alive 10 years after, you're going to ask the same question and say, if I was 10 years ago, I would have, you know, I wish I would have done this. So remember, now is the time. Try your best to put every single effort in. Challenges are normal, they're always going to come in life. It's about how you deal with them. And remember, it all comes down to patience. It all comes down to patience. And there will be, this is 10 people, let's say, and everybody's going to give up at certain levels of patience. This person will give up here, this person will give up here, this person will give up higher, this person will give up higher. And you're constantly in competition with everybody else. So ask yourself, am I willing to get to that level? Okay, inshallah, I will end it here. It's basically Maghrib time in a few minutes, so I need to head to the masjid, inshallah. Yeah, it was a pleasure giving this talk. I ask Allah Azza wa Jal to accept it from me and from you guys and to scale it in our good deeds on Yawm al-Qiyamah. And if you have any questions, just ask them on my social media and inshallah, I'll try my best. Barakallah fi. I will see you sometime soon, perhaps. And if you have any messages, just message me on my social media. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.